Hi, this is Lynn Paolillo. I'm a certified instructor for the National Cat Groomers Institute, and I wanted to share some tips and positions on working and shaving with a cat's underside. So this includes the belly, the lower sanitary area, and the ticklish armpits. So the first thing I'm going to do, this is Bubba. He is a young Persian, but he is extremely matted today, and he's going to be getting a full line cut. But I want to start with his face trim, so I'm kind of combing out around his head so that I can do a little bit of trimming above his eyes and plucking of his cheeks, which I do on all of my Persians, and even my more grouchy Persians tend to allow this really, really well. If you have questions about face trimming, the National Cat Groomers does have a separate online class just on the Persian face trim, and I find that it really makes a big difference in my Persian grooms and bringing in that really star quality that a lot of grooms tend to be missing, especially with these round little smushy faces. Then of course I'll be trimming all of the toenails. I don't want to be getting scratched by long hook-shaped nails as they can do a lot of damage. I did go ahead and put the air muzzle on. Bubba doesn't really get aggressive, but I wanted to put it on way before he tries to have any type of meltdown or starts trying to bite me, as opposed to waiting until he's escalated in behavior to then try to do something about it. Since he's laying on the table so nicely, I'm going to try to do as much as I can on the table before I switch to my lap. Even though he's getting a full line cut, I prefer starting on the underside because that is the more difficult areas to get to, and I don't want to leave them for last. I'd rather just do them first. It's hard to see in the video, but my forearm is actually pulling the skin slightly to the side in order to keep it nice and flat. I'm not pulling his leg out. I'm actually keeping it more in a relaxed position so I can kind of have a nice flat area over that thigh. Since he's doing well, I want to try to do this ticklish armpit, just focusing on getting the mats on the underside first. Then I'll use my hands to really spread apart the skin right behind the elbow into more of the shoulder, because when he's in this relaxed position, that's actually part of the armpit, so I can roll it to the side. Same with doing the back legs. I just want to hold by the foot, and I will try to get as much as I can while he's in a relaxed position. He doesn't stay like this forever, so I'm going to take advantage of everything that I can while they're in a really good position. So inside of the rear legs, around the hock bones, those are all more difficult areas to get later once they start getting wiggly. For these front armpits, I like to hold the arm kind of straight out so that I can really get that armpit nice and flat. That's going to be the key thing. And I know he's going to start getting wiggly. A lot of cats are very ticklish in their armpits, so I have to make the best use of every swipe before they start trying to wiggle away and get really squirmy, and I only want to hold onto that front leg for just exactly what I need. So I've done around the armpit area, and so now I can let go. You can see he's starting to escalate, so I didn't want to keep going if I didn't have to. He's really particular around his head and neck, so I do a little bit, but then I'm going to switch to an area where he wasn't giving me as much issue just to give him a bit of a break. So again, I'll go right to the kind of back legs. I want to do the more difficult areas first. Even though you can kind of see this is skipping ahead a bit, I went ahead and shaved a lot of the body while he was just laying on his side. You didn't really need to see that because that's pretty straightforward. Again, trying to touch up those back legs as much as I can before I have to roll him over. The lap is really where I like to do a lot of my armpits and undersides. If you can really get into good positions and practice, you will have so much more control, especially when they start getting really wiggly for these armpit areas. So I'm holding the arm nice and straight forward, kind of up and out as if they were walking, so that I can get the armpit nice and stretched out, and I can use as few clipper swipes as possible. Remember, he did not like around his under chin, so I'm kind of gently holding his legs forward in a relaxed position and trying to help him tilt his head back so that I can get that huge mat that's under his chin without him continuing to push his head forward. And I know he doesn't love it, so I try to do, again, as much as I can with as few swipes as possible. So my hand, that is my non-clipper hand, is really important to help stretch everything out, move the legs around as much as possible. And you can see I try to limit how much I'm actually holding onto their leg to extend it. I try to do just exactly what I need and then let it relax. And I find a lot of cats respond so much better than to continually hold out their legs and just keep shaving in areas that I don't need to hold the legs. I don't need to hold the legs while doing the shoulder or the middle of the belly or the sides. I only need it for what's really tucked up inside. Then I let them kind of drape over my legs, but my knees are holding them quite firm in that position. Then I just, again, let them relax. And you can see the back legs, I'm not extending them, but my thumb is able to control any piece of skin that I need to right in that spot. So my fingers are kind of doing the stretching for my clipper hand and just staying out of the way while I use a really light touch in this area. And then once I can see where the nipples are, where the genitals are, then I can go back in with a slightly firmer pressure to touch up anything that I want. Again, I want to get this underbelly as finished as possible so that after the bath, when I come back, I have very minimal touch-ups to do. I didn't have to do a whole second blanket when I come back because that's just taking up way too much time and the cat is going to lose way too much patience. So we've got our rough shaving done, we went to the tub, and now we're coming back to do our finish work. He did have some mats down his legs and I wanted to comb those out. We're in the same position that I used for trimming the underbelly because I'm able to use my knees and my legs to control the back legs by supporting right by the hip so that their weight is fully supported, but they're not able to bunny kick and jump away. I used a larger comb first and then I went back with a smaller face and feet comb and then I repeated on the other side. Then again, we're just going to kind of shift him so his front shoulder is tucked right by my elbow. And this is just so I only have to control and be aware of 2 feet at any given time. I'm not trying to control all 4 feet at the same time. And just to kind of give him a break, I like to focus on different areas so that those are done and over with. So while he's just kind of laying on my lap, I'll do what I can in this position by using my hands to move the skin forward. Cats have very loose skin, which can be more prone to cuts and nicks with our clippers, but it works in our favor because we can move and manipulate the skin just around the body so we can get it to a flatter point. So the flat areas of the body are going to be the shoulders, the sides, the thighs. And again, anytime I'm touching the legs or extremities, I'm only holding them for exactly what I need, and then I'm letting them relax, and I'm using my fingers on my non-clipper hand to stretch small areas that I need to do. So what I'm trimming right now is the kind of tuck-up area, which can be a very scary flap of skin, but if he's relaxed and I'm almost pushing the back legs into the belly, then that's not a flap of skin anymore. We're back on the table to finish up with a little comb out. And then he's pretty much going to be wrapped up and ready to go. I will have a second part to this video where I have a much wigglier kitty, but those positions are going to be the same. They're just sped up a little bit while working with a wiggly cat because, again, I got to make use of every single minute and every single clipper swipe I have with them. So stay tuned for part 2. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below, and I will talk to you guys later.